Salutations, everyone. Welcome to the show. You know who it is. It's Keyshawn right here with my boy Nick.
Yo, yo.
Yes. I haven't dropped a video in a while. Been working. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, just wanted to come through and talk about the big things that are going on. You know, Hollywood Rock is back in the WWE and he's with the Bloodline. So we got to talk about that. And also, we got to talk about what it means for Cody Rhodes and his future and his story down the line. And also, just like the overall landscape of WrestleMania and how it's going. So, how you doing, Nick?
I'm doing good.
All right, it's good to hear. So, what are your thoughts on Hollywood Rock coming in and just tearing down the whole crowd and joining the Bloodline?
I mean, it was great television.
Definitely.
It was I mean, if he hadn't have turned heel, I think it would have been very lame in terms of like, oh, it's just Rock just spewing, his normal catchphrases at Roman Reigns and everything. But I think he knew as soon as he came out on that SmackDown when Cody, gave him the title shot or whatever it was. He was like, well, I'm going to fight a losing battle. And I'm going to just go heel because everybody wants me to, because it probably works better anyway.
Yeah, it definitely works better with this. I love to hear The Rock just talk about slapping the herpes off someone's face.
When he came out with the vest, I'm like, okay, this is old. This is old Rock. This isn't like 2000s Rock or like even like Attitude Era Rock at like towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the Rock as he was like far be like a lot of people will say a lot of different things about him, but I feel like he works better as a heel than a baby face.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he's just naturally got that like, God, I really like like people were probably jealous of him and all this other stuff, and they're like, let's screw this guy. And it's just, I think it's great. As far as it goes, like into WrestleMania, we have to see. I really don't know what he's gonna do. Everybody's thought he was gonna fight Roman, but I don't think that's gonna happen now. I think more than likely he's gonna do a tag match with Roman, which is which is fine because he's 51 or 52 years old and probably can't work like a 30-minute match like most of the people in the company do. So, I mean, just a weird. It's just such a rage of emotions the last like 2 or 3 weeks. Like,
yeah, a lot's been going on.
Yeah,
a whole lot. Twitter's been at a frenzy.
Yeah, just
yeah. I think with the Rock coming back, it's a great thing. Him going heel with Roman, like because I like how like I feel like wrestling's best when like you don't know what's going on, what's gonna happen next, And with this, it's like okay, like they might have messed up and had to like like remix whatever they were gonna do, but still like it still builds an intrigue because we don't know what's gonna happen next. Now we're just like how's Solo gonna feel about this? How's Roman gonna feel about him being here? Like Jimmy, whatever. So like I'm down for this like corporate bloodline thing.
Yes, I think
gonna be dope.
Ever since Jay and Jimmy split, it's been very it's been very stagnant because there hasn't been much going on with the overall story. But now it's picking back up because The Rock's involved and all of that and all of that stuff. So it's going to be very interesting, like the dynamic, because Roman is probably going to feel inferior to The Rock at some point. And you got to see what kind of tension that creates and all that stuff. And to add to your point, I feel like nowadays everybody knows what's going to happen in wrestling because of Twitter and social media is just like it's impossible to keep secrets nowadays.
Yeah.
But now now it's like Rock is back and now it's going to be Cody versus Roman. Now it's like okay, like where does the Rock fit in now? Like is he just going to chill until WrestleMania and then he's going to leave and then that's it, or what's going to happen? That's like the best part about it as of right now. We'll see how the storyline evolves over the next 2 months, but they're off to a pretty. I mean, there was an early stumble with the whole controversial like Rock coming out like, oh, I'm gonna Cody take a back seat. I'm gonna fight him like that.
Yeah. They still have to explain what's going on with that, and I think they will. I think they definitely will. I don't think it'll be that hard, really. Just to be like, oh, The Rock try to like deceive Cody and tell him just so he can like take his spot or something like that, or they can even do it where like it's a plan the whole time to turn on Roman or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They could go any way with this.
Mm-hmm. I think so too.
So, what do you think this means for Cody ultimately?
I mean, conventional wisdom would say that he's going to beat Roman. But as we saw last year, everybody thought he was going to beat Roman and he didn't. But I think at this point, if they don't put the belt on him and you have him win the Royal Rumble twice, then it's like, okay, what are we doing? Like now it's like you just want us to not like care about this guy. But you're manufacturing like this guy like to be like, oh, this guy's a beast because he won back-to-back Royal Rumbles, first person since Stone Cold to do it. But if he loses twice to the same guy, it takes a lot out of the sales for Cody. I think it's like I think they're very behind him and they don't want this. They're ready to put him in that spot of being like the top baby face, which he's been for the last 2 or 3 years. But I mean, there's that back in the mind where you're just like, oh God, please no, like please don't like make it like so bad. Like he loses again, then he's like, well, I guess I'm not finishing the story, guys. Like, sorry.
Yeah, but I totally agree. But you still want that thought. You still want people to believe that, oh, okay, Cody could still lose this match. Like it's not signed, sealed, and delivered.
Because no, it's not. It's definitely not. I mean, like he could still very well be booked to lose, and because maybe they want Roman to beat Hogan's record. But I think if you're gonna build the rematch, he has to win. You can't have him like the whole thing with the Royal Rumble. If he didn't win the Royal Rumble and he got his way through the Elimination Chamber, I'd be like, okay, that's fine. Like if he loses, but he won the Royal Rumble. You could have had anybody. You could have had Punk, which would have ended well because he got hurt, unfortunately. You could have had Gunther, which would have been good, but you had your undeniable top babyface in the company win it, and you have to have him win the title because if he doesn't, then the Royal Rumble is just like, okay, like who's getting fed to Roman until and then Roman goes and hibernates for 4 or 5 months and then comes back for the big pay-per-views.
Yeah, totally. I think ultimately he will take the belt, but having The Rock there now and his stature, like being like a board member, he's gonna put a bunch of obstacles in Cody's way, and Cody's gonna have to fight through it.
Because the interesting thing about it, after he announced that he was fighting Roman, he did one promo on Raw, I think it was, and he hasn't said anything else about it. Like he hasn't said, oh, like whatever. Like I'm gonna talk. Well, he's on Elimination Chamber. He's gonna be on like a talk show segment with Grayson Waller, so he's probably gonna say what he's gonna say there. But it's kind of weird the quietness. Like Cody hasn't really said anything about The Rock other than like that real quick promo on Raw. So I don't know. I would think that he gets like Cody and Roman are on both nights and they work a tag match, like Cody and Rollins versus Rock and Roman, and then Cody versus Roman for the belt. But I genuinely don't know. I don't know what the thinking is right now. Maybe Rock is just going to be like around just to uh like build up hype for their match when it happens, maybe next year or in Saudi Arabia or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, they could go a lot of ways with this. Like
Yes,
Cody
exactly.
could verse The Rock night 1 and then verse Roman night 2.
And then he beats both of them, and it's like,
Yeah,
okay,
it
like
could be a triple threat match. It could be Rock as a special guest referee. It could be like legit anything. Like
it,
we don't know.
yeah, like last year, you kind of figured like what was going to happen in most of the matches. Like you figured, okay, these people, like most, there might be there are going to be a couple of big title changes. You figured once the Usos dropped the belts, Cody was going to beat Roman, and then it was going to be like the happy ending WrestleMania. Didn't end that way, and it was just horrible. But I think Cody will. The storyline will. They're going to probably retcon it where, like you said, Rock is probably going to be like, "Oh, I told you all that stuff, so you'd back off, so I'd get the title." Like that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we'll find out in a few weeks because it'll be probably once like middle of March, you'll figure out like who everybody's gonna be paired up with and all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Elimination Chamber is going to be interesting because something has to go down there.
Yeah, no, it has something. It has to. It has to continue the story because like if it's just Cody and Rollins on Raw just talking about them and they're not interacting, then it's kind of like, okay, what's the end game? Like, when are they all going to interact again? Like, besides the press conference.
Yeah, I was imagining what if The Rock versus Seth in the main event, he beats Seth, and then Roman beats Cody.
They have all the belts.
Yo, the internet would go crazy.
I would just everyone would just be so pissed.
Yes,
They're like 2 years in a row you do this. Like, damn
it would be crazy. But yeah, like let's talk about WrestleMania as a whole. Honestly, how do you think it's turning up to like be like the card?
I mean, thankfully WWE's in a spot where they have a lot of good people in good places right now. So I think it'll be a very solid card. Like both nights should be very well balanced. But the other problem that I was just talking about, like the other like with my friends, was like there are so many guys like a good example is like Randy Orton. Like, what is Randy Orton going to do on WrestleMania? Like, you don't know. Like, maybe he pulls off a surprise victory and he wins the Elimination Chamber. I don't think he will. I think Drew wins it and he goes on to face Seth. But I think Randy is in one of those spots where it's like, oh, like, what is he going to do? It's like, oh, well, he didn't lose. You're going to get pinned by Roman, but he lost to Roman in a fatal 4-way. So you don't know where that's building. But I think what's going to end up happening is he's probably going to work solo because he still has the feud with the Bloodline going on a little bit. And Solo is one of those guys where he needs that spot because Jimmy's also going to probably wrestle Jay. And then the U.S. title, not mess, but it's like there's so many guys in that picture. It's like Logan Paul, it's Kevin Owens, it's LA Knight,
Yeah,
it's
a
AJ
lot of
Styles.
contenders.
And I'm like, you know what? Bring back an old standard. Do a ladder match at WrestleMania. Like those are a surefire way to get a bunch of good guys on the card, and then have LA Knight's crowning moment, like have him win the U.S. title.
Yeah, that's definitely a good idea. They needs to be a multi-man match. There's a lot of good talent that needs to get on there.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I think they should split the tag belts too.
They need new tag belts. Holy cow! I keep saying it.
Yes, it's very it's just like that you have so many good tag teams now where it's like you need to get all of these guys like on the show, but like it's just one tag division and it's it kind of sucks because it doesn't really do it. It's like, oh, like the brands, and it's also like the brand split thing. It's like, oh, it's the brand split supposed to matter now, but how is it going to matter when the belts are unified and they defend them on both shows?
Yeah.
But overall, I think we're gonna get a lot of marquee matches. Like I think Jade's gonna make her debut against Bianca, beat
Yeah.
Bianca, make a new star, type of thing. Obviously, the women's match, the title matches, it's probably gonna be Becky and Rhea, which is a great match, and
Yep.
Io and Bailey, which is a great story and gonna be a great match. Obviously, Cody. And I think it's going to be, I've been saying this, I think it's going to be a triple threat for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think it's going to be Seth, Drew, and Sami Zayn because Raw has been building this story of how Sami is he's just can't get out of this rut where he's on this losing streak and he just can't, like, he's about to win a match and then he gets like distracted or something happens. And I think now is the time to ride Sami Zayn as that underdog babyface, and you get him to win the belt at a big pay-per-view. And Gunther is Gunther. I thought Braun Breaker was going to wrestle him, but he went to SmackDown, so that's out. So I think it's probably going to be Chad Gable. I think that
Gable get back in the mix.
Yes, which I like. Or Andrade. I would not be mad with Andrade or Chad Gable getting the WrestleMania title shot. Because I think...
Do you think they would win?
Andrade, no. I think Gable could Andrade, it's a great match for him to get back into WWE and get people excited about him. And because him and Gunther will tear the house down. Same thing with Gable and him. But I think Gable's story with him, or because he has that pre-existing story, I think that's a better story to tell than Andrade. I think Andrade has a match with Gunther later on down the line. But I think the Gable's story would be great to tell. So I think if Gable wrestled Gunther, he would probably win because Gunther is ready to go to the main event. It's 900 days as a champ, like not 900 days, 600 days as Intercontinental Champion, longest rating Intercontinental Champion of all time. It is time for him to go after the big belt. And so I think he drops the belt soon. I don't think it'll be to Andrade if it's the match, but I do think Chad Gable, if he gets that spot, will take the belt from him.
And that would be a great match between.
Oh yeah, WrestleMania, especially WrestleMania.
Mania.
They'll give them like 20 minutes, tear the house down. Everyone will talk about the match, and that's what you want.
Definitely, that's what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, with Gable, what do you think about the Kabuki Warriors? Who do you see them going against?
That's a tougher one because the women, this is no knock on the women's division because they really built it up over the last few years. They just don't have the depth to make a bunch of tag teams and make them credible because there's only so many hours on TV. I would do last year they had the WrestleMania showcase match. Just do that, but for both tag belts. Because they're, you can get the Creed brothers, you can get DIY, you can get British Strong Style, or you can do it like they did this in WrestleMania 37, like a tag team turmoil where it's or a tag team gauntlet match where you give them the opening of the show or that you give them in the middle of the show and they just keep going and going and going.
I would like that better, definitely.
Because there's at least 7 good tag teams on Raw and SmackDown. And that would be a good use of all the talent. But also it's less is also more. You don't need to do that, but it'd be great to get all these guys on the show, but it's kind of also, you want a credible threat. As much as I love R-Truth, do not have him win the tag belts with the Miz. Have it go to
Awesome Truth.
Have them I don't know, cost them the belts, but do not have them win the belts.
Come on, they went toe to toe with The Rock and John Cena before. You don't think they could beat Priest
listen, it's people are reacting to it, and that's a good thing, because Truth is so good at what he does, and I think that's, listen, that's probably where we're headed, and that sucks for the tag division because it's literally, they just came back, and there's so many good tag teams who have been working for months. I think if they do win, it'll be a short reign, and then get other teams like maybe Imperium wins it, or like a heel tag team,
Yeah.
and that. But it's very. That's the one thing I don't know about, uh, like who challenges for the tag belts. Everything else is pretty much locked in, I would say, from in my mind at least.
I could see maybe Naomi teaming up with someone for the belts, or maybe like a Liv Morgan, or
I
is
could
Liv on
see
SmackDown,
Liv is
or it
on
doesn't matter.
Raw, I believe. I think.
Yeah, I could see one of them.
I could
Some,
see Naomi working a match at WrestleMania, like in the tag capacity.
yeah,
But that just depends on who. Like, would it be Tamina? Would it be Natalia? Like one of these tag team specialists? Or would it be like, like she recruits somebody? I don't know. But or it could be her and Jade. I mean, if you don't want to have Jade lose to Bianca, or no, Bianca lose to Jade, but I think if you want to maximize Jade's star potential, you have her beat Bianca because it makes her look like $1,000,000.
yeah,
But
definitely. That's what I would do. But we'll see.
yeah,
What do you think is gonna happen with Bobby Lashley and Karrion Kross?
he's another guy like that. He's in that like limbo. Like he's like one of these guys who's like in it. He's so over with the crowd, but like he's just doesn't. It's like one of those like too many cooks in the kitchen type of thing where he's like he can't like get his do. I mean, a a mixed tag match with what's their name? What's Carrion's
The
group's
Final
name? The Final
Testament.
Testament
Yeah.
versus the new Hurt Business. That would be fine on WrestleMania, but I just don't know if people are going to be wanting to see that because everybody loves Bobby Lashley in the Street Profits. Nobody really, I hate to say this, but no one really cares about Cross and AOP. Honestly, if I was WWE, I'd send them to NXT and make them a dominant faction there because everyone saw how good Cross was in NXT and how good AOP was there. And I think it's a better use of their talents there because they're just not getting over with the main audience. It's just not working. Something's not working with the way they're presented or what. Maybe, listen, it's also very new. It just started a few months ago. Maybe they can get back on track, but I think they could be very well suited for NXT just going back there.
Yeah, I agree. I could see them at NXT.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see Bobby them face off against like AJ in the club, the OC. Maybe because didn't like AJ, wasn't he talking to them on SmackDown recently?
Yeah, but he also kind of was like pissed that he kind of slapped Carl Anderson around a little bit. So I don't know. I don't know where that's leading.
I could see them like, they get pissed off and start fucking shit up, and then AJ's like, "Yo, that's what I need," and that like gets them to
that could be it. But
something like that. Maybe.
Again, it's just there's too many talented people in the top. Like that, it's a great problem to have.
Sure.
But and it's like, it's just like God, like there's so many people who are deserving of a spot on WrestleMania, but like if there's only so many spots. I mean, you could have the Battle Royal on Mania, and it'd be have somebody win that. Honestly, with Braun Breaker winning, being on SmackDown, have him win that Battle Royal.
Yeah.
Then he's in a good spot, but you got to see how they book him going forward because it's shiny new toy, but he can be lost in the shuffle very quickly because SmackDown is 2 hours, whereas Raw is 3 hours. That's why I thought he was going to go to Raw because they could have more time to get him ready for the spotlight, and have him have a squash match here and there. But like SmackDown's so condensed with the 2 hours that it's going to be very hard to get him on when there's all this stuff going on with WrestleMania.
Yeah, there's a lot of good talent out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they had to go to 2 nights,
Well, also that, and watching 6 or 7 hours of WrestleMania would kill most people's attention spans.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Because I mean, like 2 nights is like New Japan's done it for years and it's worked out for them. And it just makes better sense because, does it dilute the significance of main events in WrestleMania? A little bit because there's 2 main events now. But you know what? It's also like I'd rather a molten hot crowd for a main event than a crowd that's completely exhausted and just wants to go home and is just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, please just end this. Like it's 1 a.m. Like I want to go home. Like, it's like Becky Lynch at WrestleMania 35. Like complete silence. It was quiet. People were sleeping. People just wanted to go home. Like it's so much better now that they do what they're doing now with the 2 nights. It's so much better.
Yeah, definitely. It's more of a spectacle. It feels like it's more like people can actually go there and stay for like the weekend, or
Yeah,
if
it's
they,
like a whole event. Like it's a
yeah,
whole
if they
trip.
can't make it Saturday, they can go Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
So
and you're selling you're making more money
more
anyway.
money.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's perfect. So all right, last topic. We can go over this briefly. We can talk about what's going on with AEW and TNA, just overall. Like, how you feeling about both of them?
I have not watched a single thing of TNA yet. I know
Really?
I've seen clips online and I'm happy for them that they got that shine in the Rumble with Jordana Grace because she's terrific. But TNA is also like very culty fan base. Like it's like those people from the 2000s who were like so sick of WWE, so they went to TNA, and then TNA sucked so bad in the early 2010s where they're like, okay, I'm just gonna stop watching wrestling.
Yep, that was
But
me.
I mean TNA's also I don't know. Like I think they did it. Apparently the rumor mill was like for those of you who don't know Scott D'Amore, who was the head of creative, he got fired by Anthem, their company. He apparently was trying to get really high guys. Like he wanted Okada, he wanted Osprey, and Anthem's like, no, 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 no. We're staying in our budget. Like we're not spending $2 million on Okada or Osprey. That's not happening. Like we're still like building our brand up. So I think that's why he got fired. And AEW is starting to get back to that feeling of like, okay, like you're all of the backstage bull crap is behind you. You have these up and coming guys like Swerve. You have Will Ospreay coming in and a bunch of Mercedes Moné. You're getting all these free agents, which is great, but you have got to start. I hate because thankfully it's around because people have jobs, but you have to now do not sign anybody for 2 years because you have literally the best roster on paper in wrestling history, probably.
Yeah, soon there's not going to be anyone to sign.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then New Japan is in a rut because they just lost the biggest star they ever had, the Will Ospreay, who is just entering his prime, and Jay White, all in a foul swoop.
And Rocky Romero, wasn't he
And
like
I
booking for
think,
them or
yeah,
something?
and now he's like, I think he's got a big job with AEW. I think he's like in the like he's not head of creative, but he's like on the creative team. He's like one of the senior guys there.
Yeah,
But
that's crazy.
they also know that Kenny Omega is not like ever gonna be probably 100% again. They know Danielson's gonna retire soon. Like they know, like, okay, for us to be successful, we have to build up Hangman, we have to build up Swerve. I mean, Samoa Joe's older, but having him beat MJF for the belt and having Adam Cole turn on him wasn't good at the time because of how it happened and the whole thing with MJF. Oh, is he going to leave? No, he's not leaving. He would never leave AEW, not yet. Probably his next contract he goes to WWE because he's going to be in his 30s. He probably wants to get a shit ton of money. But I think they're getting out of that rut of like, there was so much crap about them last year. Like every day, like not every day. That's the hyperbole, but there every week it seemed like there was something bad, like CM Punk, like getting fired, like Jungle Boy, backstage fights, all
Sammy
this stuff.
Guevara.
Sammy Guevara.
Even recently, he got into an accident.
Yeah. Oh God. So if I'm Tony Khan, I don't sign any other wrestlers. I am done. I have the best women's wrestler probably on the planet, the best Japanese wrestler on the planet, one of the best wrestlers, period, in Will Ospreay on my roster. I don't need to sign anybody else. I don't care. I don't need to do that. You know what? He's gonna just be like, WWE can take the scraps, and everyone's like, oh, why didn't WWE sign him? It's like they can make offers, but it's like they
Bruh,
also
NXT's filled with women that are gonna be bona fide studs.
yeah, and that's the thing. AEW, for as good as they are with the men's, not so much with the women because they don't pay much. Like Britt Baker is one of the best things about AEW back in the day, like the pandemic and even the 2 years after the pandemic. And she was not on television for like a whole 4 or 5 months. Like that's not good. Like, I mean, granted, you have a bunch of good talent, so that's good. You don't have to book everybody every week. But it's also like, you want to be noticed and you want to be a big star and you want to make a lot of money.
But they
But
book Sky Blue every week, and she didn't even cut a promo.
Sky Blue is only booked every week because the marks on the internet like her ass.
Exactly.
Let's
Like
be honest. They're
actually,
booking that.
someone else could be there in that
No,
position.
exactly. I mean, listen, Sky Blue isn't terrible.
She's not bad at all, but
but
she's not
it's
ready
also,
for all that time.
No, I mean, giving certain people the spotlight over other people that have been there for a long time is kind of silly.
Like this whole Don Callis family thing, like I kind of don't understand.
Why
is he battling his own dude? Like it doesn't make sense.
The thing that has drove me crazy about AEW is you have probably like the biggest up and coming Japanese star in Takeshita, and you have him in this nothing group. Will Hobbs, this monster, is in this nothing group. Like they don't do a thing. They don't add to and it's not like, oh, he's a great heel. It's go away heat. It's like, dude, get off my television. It's not entertaining. I don't care about Don Callis and his stupid family. I just don't. It's not entertaining. It was entertaining when Kenny was there, but it's just not entertaining now. It's like you have a guy who doesn't speak English, a guy who's really not that great of a talker in Hobbs, which he could. But dude, get rid of that. Have them be single stars. Have them wrestle on Collision on everything. But
they're not even getting matches, and then I'm seeing OC wrestle every week. I'm like, Takeshita, they could have a feud between them.
I would love for Takeshita to take. There is Orange Cassidy fatigue. All right, there's only so many times where he can defend the belt, and it's like the underdog's babyface story. It's too much now. When he dropped the belt to Moxley, I understand Moxley got hurt after that, and they wanted to pivot back to the story of him getting the belt back from him. But it is so tired now. Like it is 700. It's like it's the same thing with Gunther. It's like enough is enough. Like, well, Gunther's also like his matches are also very different. You can have a brawl fest like Drew and Sheamus did. You can have a underdog versus a killer story like he did with Ciampa and Gable and all these other guys.
But the difference is he's not wrestling every week. One,
no,
and two, his backstage the way to get to the match isn't like a weird, awkward backstage segment where he's like, "Oh, you want to wrestle? Yeah, sure." Okay.
Yeah, it's like in his character, like, listen, as much as everyone's like, oh my God, his character's so cool. He doesn't give a shit. I'm like, yeah, it's cool, but like evolve your character. He still doesn't give a shit. He's been there for 5 freaking years and he's still the same person.
Yeah,
like most people, Kenny Omega had a whole heel turn and then like changed his whole character at the time that happened. Like, dude, change it up a little bit. I get it. The marks in AEW will eat everything up, but change it up. You're gonna get stale at some point. And I get it. AEW's like, oh, like they all like these gimmicks and stuff, but at some point it's silly and it's oversaturated, and people get sick of that. Like no one wants to see Orange Cassidy defend the belt 3 times a week. It's just boring now. Give it to somebody who deserves it. Give it to Jay White. Give it to Takeshita, give it to Will Hobbs, give it to somebody in the Callis family.
Jay White, he's busy.
He's in the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. You don't let him beat MJF for the title, but you have him in the Bang Bang Scissor Gang with the Acclaimed. But
and they don't even do anything after they got jumped by the Kingdom.
No, I think they're waiting for Cole to get healthy, and that leads to a 3-minute a match with Cole versus Jay White, which will be great. But
you can't just forget you getting jumped.
No, you can't. No, exactly. It's like that. I mean, granted, in wrestling, everybody has short-term memories, but for the love of God, like, do something. Like, just don't let yourselves look like punks. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, okay, like they could have feuded with the Kingdom. They could lose to the Kingdom. You're valid. You're making I feel like I don't feel like they're established yet. The Kingdom.
No, but
that would have established them if they beat Jay White in the Guns.
I think so too. I think I don't know. The Kingdom is in that spot where they were a comedy act for like Roderick Strong and the two Matt Taven and the other guy. I forgot his name. And then Wardlow was heel when he came back, which was great. Because I feel like he's going to leave as soon as his contract's up because they can't not do anything good with him.
Gone. They're just doing squash matches.
Him and Ricky Starks, I think would benefit. Wardlow is so good, and he doesn't do a thing. Make him wrestle somebody. I'm so sick of the same shit like with AEW. Here are the 3 things you will get on a month's Dynamite or the same week. An Orange Cassidy title defense that doesn't mean anything anymore. A Wardlow squash match, but after the 7th Wardlow squash match, you're like, why is he even doing this? We know he's a beast. Who cares? Have him face a guy who can realistically beat him, you know, or it was or the blood-soaked Bucks, which is fine. It's a good character change for them because they're playing into how everybody like didn't like them after the CM Punk stuff, which it works for me. I mean, I'm sick of this. There's the same old Bucks, you know, and they're at their best when they're heels. That's what, and they've said that.
I wish they did this sooner, though.
I wish they did this sooner.
They should have done this right after the Punk stuff.
It's still like you could have your opinions on CM Punk getting fired and all that, but the fact that I bring this up almost every time we talk, but the fact that they just couldn't get Omega versus Punk, to just sit down in a room and it's like, listen, you know how much fucking money we will make if you guys just wrestle. Like at any pay-per-view, it doesn't matter where it is. Just, you know how much money it's going to make because of how pissed off everybody's going to be? And you couldn't just act like grown adults and just sit down and do business? It's like ridiculous.
No, they can't. I feel like I don't really feel like there's many people in AEW I can take like seriously. Like they're legit. Like Swerve, definitely. Joe, definitely.
Paige,
I like this new.
I like this new shift in his character too.
Yeah, finally he did.
MJF they made into a dork. Because they turned him babyface.
Everyone else is just like I can't really take serious.
Darby, I mean, is
like Darby.
I do like Darby, but he's never going to be the guy. Like he's going to be like the mid card guy. Sammy Guevara, hell no. Those 4 pillars stuff. Only 2 of them are any good. The other
Real
2,
Glass, Cry Me a River.
Yeah, one guy's not even in the company because you know I would just been like, screw it, he's not coming back. But yeah, I mean, there's only so many people. Like Okada and Ospreay, when they get there, you can buy them as championship, but I wouldn't put the belt on them. I'd put the belt on Ospreay as soon as I could. I think Joe's going to hold the belt for a little while longer because he just got the belt. So I don't think Swerve or Hangman's going to beat him. I would love to see Swerve beat him and become the champion, but I don't know. Because I think Swerve has been on such a roll where he's kind of like in a Cody Rhodes type of thing where it's like he's undeniable. Like he's your guy for the next like 3 or 4 years. Like this is your guy. But yeah, like AEW, I mean, as now that they're starting to get out of the rut, like stop doing like the same old thing that everybody's tired of seeing. Like have Orange drop the belt, have what was it? What was the other thing? Have Wardlow be in meaningful matches and stuff. Like, just do it like, you know, do new stuff. No one wants to see the same old stuff. And that's what any company. I don't want to see the same old Roman. Like, once Roman drops the belt, have him take like a shit ton of time off and then have him come back to fight Cody at some other point, then do the rematch. Do not have Roman come back immediately and get a title match because it's just, he's Roman Reigns. He gets an immediate title match. Have Cody have an established reign with a couple of title defenses, then bring Roman back. Maybe set up the match with The Rock. I don't know. But just do not, like, it's so repetitive. It's like, even Roman Reigns, same thing. It's like solo interference, gets thrown out, guy makes a comeback, Solo comes back, spike, spear. Repetitive booking needs to stop. It is 2024. No one wants to see this shit anymore.
Yeah, definitely. Especially now that Vince is gone.
Especially now that Vince is completely gone. May he rot in hell, that evil human being. Oh, God. I don't even want to get into it because it's so disgusting. But
yeah, we're not getting into it.
No,
we're actually about to get out of here because
Yeah.
I got to go soon.
Yeah.
So. All right, guys, I hope you like the show. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment, and just let me know what you think, man. And all right, Nick, I'll see you later. Until next time. Huh?